Have you ever just looked at someone, your partner, your boss, maybe even your best friend, and thought to yourself, what on earth is going on in their head? Why do they react so differently to the exact same thing? Well, if you have, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to unlock a powerful way to understand why people do the things they do.
I mean, come on. We've all asked this question, right? You see somebody do something that makes absolutely zero sense to you, and you just can't help but wonder. Well, the source material for this explainer has a pretty surprising and honestly a kind of provocative answer to that question.
Yep, you heard that right. According to the source, every single one of us is living in our own private delusion. And look, that's not an insult. It's actually the key to understanding, well, everything. So, what does that actually mean?
Our personal delusions really come down to something called schemas. Think of them like these invisible mental frameworks that our life experiences build for us. Here's a perfect example. Let's say you grew up with a big, cuddly golden retriever. For you, the schema for dog is all about love, fun, and family. But maybe your friend got nipped by a dog as a kid. Their schema is all about fear. So when you both see a stray dog on the street, you're looking at the exact same animal, but you're living in two totally different realities.
Okay, so if we're all off in our own little worlds, how do we ever manage to connect with each other? Well, here's the fascinating part. While our experiences are totally unique, our fundamental wiring isn't. It turns out we all share a universal set of what we can call secret tools. It's like a communication toolbox that we're all born with.
We all have these same 4 tools. The problem is, because of our life experiences, we end up preferring one or two of them over the others. And when your favorite tool clashes with someone else's favorite tool, well, that's where all the stress and miscommunication comes from. But when you learn to use the right tool for the person you're talking to, that's when you really start to connect.
All right, let's look at the first pair of tools to see how this plays out. This is a classic clash you've probably seen 1,000 times in your own life, the timeless battle between feelings and cold, hard logic.
So on one side, you have the romantics. They navigate the world through emotion, empathy, and connection. And on the other side, you've got the warriors. They're all about efficiency, results, and finding the most logical path from A to B.
And you can see just how deep these differences go. A romantic's goal is basically world peace. They want everyone to get along. What they need, deep down, is to feel appreciated. So they communicate indirectly, hoping you'll kind of pick up on the hints. Warriors, their goal is more like world domination. They want to win. Their deepest need is independence. If you do good work for a warrior, they'll reward you by leaving you alone to do more good work. And their communication, it's brutally direct.
This question perfectly sums up how a warrior feels when talking to a romantic. See, a romantic needs to vent. The source has this hilarious name for it. They need to empty their crap tolerance level container. They just store up all these little frustrations until the container is full, and then they need to talk it out to feel better. A warrior, on the other hand, sees this as pointless whining and immediately wants to jump in and fix it, completely missing that the romantic doesn't want a solution, they want a connection.
Okay, on to our next pair. This one isn't about feelings versus logic. This clash is all about the tried and true versus the what could be. It's a fundamental conflict between following a proven process and chasing pure possibility.
So you've got experts who are driven by accuracy, data, and methods that have worked before. They hate making mistakes, and they absolutely value consistency. And then you have masterminds. They get their energy from new ideas and experimentation. To them, rules are often just gentle suggestion.
And this just spells it out perfectly. An expert's core need is security. They want things to be predictable and reliable. A mastermind, though, needs excitement. The source gives this fantastic analogy about training 2 dogs with an invisible fence. Rossi, the expert dog, gets a little shock once, and that's it. She never goes near that line again. Rule learned. Perfect. But Martini, the mastermind dog, keeps testing the boundary over and over until the collar's battery finally dies, and then she gleefully runs off into the neighbor's yard.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. It's their relationship with failure. For an expert, a mistake is a disaster. It's something to be avoided at all costs. But for a mastermind, a mistake isn't a failure. Not at all. It's just data. It's a valuable piece of information on the path to the next great idea.
So, what happens when we start putting these different styles together? Well, this is where it gets really fun. Your primary style and your secondary style combine to create what the source calls your Hollywood style. It's a memorable archetype that kind of captures how you show up in the world. So for example, you take a romantic primary and you mix it with an expert secondary, and you get the best friend. You know, that super reliable, patient person who's always there for you. Or you take a warrior primary with a romantic secondary, and you get the hired gun. Charismatic, competitive, the person who gets results but doesn't make enemies. And a warrior mastermind? That's the power broker. Just a bold, strategic force of nature.
But here's the single most important takeaway from all of this. The goal isn't just to label yourself or put other people in boxes and say, well, that's just how they are. No, the real power comes from self-awareness, from knowing your own go-to tendencies so you can consciously choose to pull a different tool out of your toolbox, the one that's actually going to connect with the person right in front of you. So as you go about the rest of your day, think about this. Are you talking to a romantic who just needs to feel appreciated? A warrior who wants the bottom line, fast? An expert who needs all the details to feel secure? Or a mastermind who just wants to brainstorm wild ideas? The right tool is right there in your hands. The only question is, which one will you use?